Hello, welcome to the Dr. Dare Show. That just threw me out there. Hi, it's Topic Hop Friday. Welcome everybody. We have a great topic tonight. Um, see if it's still there. Yeah. So we have a great topic tonight. I just posted it. What makes a man beat on his girlfriend, but even worse, it's done in front of their small 5-month-old child? Is it anger issues, jealousy, past trauma, mental health issues? The video circling social media is hard to watch of ex NFL player Zac Stacy beating and throwing his ex girlfriend around. And that is what we will be talking about tonight. um, we have a couple of questions that are out there. I mean, the questions, that's one of the questions. I can't talk. Number two is, would you, as a past lover, warn a new lover if a person is violent? And number three, what are some red flags that you have experienced or watched for or watched to see if someone is violent or had a bad temper in a relationship? Let's discuss what are some red flags that you have experienced or watched for to see if someone is violent or had a bad temper in a relationship. So we have three questions. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But when you come in, click share. This is the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. Um, welcome, welcome, welcome. We will be starting momentarily, but right now we're checking in and just seeing how everybody's week has been, and that's what we're doing. And when you come in, click share. Hopefully, everybody can see me. Let me make sure that everybody can see me. But it has been that kind of week, just weird, right? Um, okay. You said. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Topic tonight. I just posted it. What you said? Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Topic tonight. I just posted it. What you said? Oh. Yeah, yeah. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just I'm over here sharing to different groups. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just I'm over here sharing to different groups. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just I'm over here sharing. So hopefully everybody had a great week. Um, Hopefully everybody had a great week. Oh, okay, I can turn that off because that's making a lot of. There you go. The Dr. Dare Show live, YouTube and Facebook. We usually topic hop, which we jump from topic to topic when we're discussing the topics. We're not trying to force anybody to have the same opinion that we do. We allow everybody to feel and talk about what they want and have their own opinion. Um, I saw this video, so we haven't got it started yet. We'll start at 8:40. I like to give people a chance to come in, say hello, share the video, like the video. Um, but I saw this video of Zac Stacy circling around, and yeah, it was just. We'll show a clip of it so we can discuss it before we get started. Hey, Karen, welcome. I am good. How are you? How's your week been this week? Well, I seen you Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I know the internet right now is going crazy over Shaka Khan and Stephanie Mills' versus yesterday. Everybody thought Shaka Khan was high. She always looks that way to me, so I couldn't. I don't know, but she's still saying. So welcome, welcome, welcome. When you come in, click share, and we will get started. Hopefully, everybody's prepared for Thanksgiving next week, which snuck up on me. There won't be a show next week. It's holiday week. So there'll be no show next week, next Friday, but this Friday, um, there will be one. I mean, now next Friday there won't be one. So, hey Karen, did you fall off of YouTube or are you still there? So, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining, we are covering three topics which are related. They're all centered around a domestic violence situation. The first one is, let me go back to my screen. Karen, you said you had a good week. These fall allergies are trying to knock me down. I'm still standing. Yes, same here. I had to take some Theraflu the other day. Um, Yeah. So Karen, what are we gonna do? Mike's gonna be gone. We gotta find another boot camp. I think I'm gonna join boot camp at this facility down in I think it's off North Druid Hills. But I have been looking at them. I don't know how much it costs though, so I have to check into that. But it's inside. So that's where I'll start. So welcome, 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 y'all. We haven't talked about anything yet. I'm just running off at the mouth, checking in with everybody. When you come in, say hello, click share, and like the video. We are going to be talking about three specific topics. One is what makes a man beat on his girlfriend, but even worse, it's done in front of their small child. Is it anger issues, jealousy, past trauma, mental health issues? The video circling social media is hard to watch of ex NFL player Zac Stacy beating and throwing his girlfriend. Her name is Kristen Evans. Around and so we want to discuss that. Number two is, would you, as a past lover, warn a new lover if a person that you were dating was violent? Number three, are what are some red flags that you have experienced or watched for to see if someone is violent or had a bad temper in in a previous relationship or even in one now? So those are the three topics that we will discuss. Once more people come on, we will get into our topic. On the show, we like you to share your opinion. Nobody is forced to believe the same way. Hey, sis, Donetta. Glad you had a good week. It's Friday. Karen says, I know. What am I going to do without Mike Banks on Saturday? I know we got to find another boot camp. So, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Donna, I see y'all have a second location. How's that going? I know it's new. It just started, right? Dun, dun, dun. So we have three topics, but they're all related tonight. Kind of, they're all based on um, relationships or domestic violent relationships, that is. And I will show the video. I'll show the video on the show tonight. Before we well, yeah, before we once we get started, but we're kind of waiting for more people to join on. But we have 1 minute before we get into it. We have a few people on here, so we are good to get started. So what I'm going to do is click on the video so that you can see what this show is about. Ex NFL player Zac Stacy is in hot water from a last Saturday incident where he was beating his wife. I mean, beating his ex girlfriend in front of their 5 month old baby, and it's horrifying. I have to warn you that it's a hard video to kind of watch, but want you to see it so that we can discuss it and give me your thoughts about it. Um, and so that's when my question was like, was it anger issues, jealousy, past trauma, mental health issues? What? Let me know what you think. So we are gonna start. We're gonna put the video on, and let's do the share screen here. um, and and here and share. So if you're just joining, we're getting ready to share take a look at the video of the football player. I understand.
Seen in this disturbing video that's difficult to watch.
Things are way different now.
I'm Dave Puglisi in Orange County, where police are looking for former NFL running back Zac Stacy, who's accused of beating his ex-girlfriend before taking off.
I'm also afraid that he's going to get away with this.
Fox 35 is the only local news station to talk with the victim as police search the nation for Zac Stacy, days after the alleged attack.
I feel lost in the system.
We're asking police what took so long to attempt an arrest. Zac Stacy, the former New York Jets running back, is on the run, wanted in Orange County.
Police say he attacked his ex-girlfriend, as you see right behind us, who was also the mother of his infant son. That attack happening right in front of the baby. This happened in the town of Oakland, west of Orlando, and police tell us they believe Stacy left the state right after this incident.
Fox 35's Dave Puglisi joins us live right now. And Dave, you spoke to Stacy's ex-girlfriend in an exclusive interview, and she's still very shaken up by all of this.
And she's nervous and she's scared, and rightfully so. When we talked to her, she was packing up her things in order to get to a safe place. She tells me that she's scared that Stacy might be coming back.
This was just the last straw, I would say. I really, truly feel that if it continues, he will kill me.
This violent encounter caught on Kristen Evans' home surveillance. She says the attack is coming at the hands of her ex-boyfriend and former.
So are y'all still there? I saw my numbers. Oh, there they are. Are y'all still there? Were y'all able to see that clip of that video? What are your thoughts? Hey, Pat, how are you? Welcome, Pat. Karen, Donetta, Karen says hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I saw the numbers go down. You saw that, Karen? What did you say? Sweet Jesus, that is horrific. Yes, it is. Um, hey, Michelle Jones. Hey, everybody's coming in now. I thought I thought everybody disappeared, but because it looked like my numbers went away, but they're back now. I am good, Pat. How are you? I am cold. The weather has dropped in Georgia, so it's a little. So I know it's cold in New York. Pat, Karen says hi. Karen, Pat says hi. Michelle, welcome. Michelle, did you get a chance to see that clip? I know everybody was just coming on once I brought it back in. I don't know if you guys saw it. I can reverse it. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's something wrong with mental health issues, anger issues? Oh, you didn't see it. Okay, so I'm gonna show it again for people that are just coming on. Hey, Tanisha, I think everybody's coming in now. Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're talking about ex NFL player Zac Stacy beating his wife. I don't know if you guys seen the video, but I'm gonna show it. I have to put the disclaimer out there that it is kind of graphic. And yeah, so now that you know, here it is.
At the hands of her ex-boyfriend and former NFLer Zac Stacy.
You think that was okay?
This violent encounter caught on Kristen Evans' home surveillance. She says the attack is coming at the hands of her ex-boyfriend and former NFLer Zac Stacy.
You think that was okay?
Now I do not. Please, please, please.
Well, every time a car has passed by, I am resisting the urge to look to see who it is. I started crying when you walked up because I'm scared, you know?
Evans spoke with Fox 35 as she hurried to a safe location out of fear Stacy might return. She says Stacy was supposed to turn himself in after police issued a warrant for his arrest, but he has not.
We believed he was in Nashville. We're not sure if he's going to be returning to the Orlando area today. There was some word of that.
Evans began a relationship with Stacy in August of 2019, which was on and off. In recent months, she says he's gotten more and more physical with her.
This was just the last straw, I would say. I really, truly feel that if it continues, he will kill me. He just feels justified in his actions. So there's nothing that anyone could do to justify something like that.
So what are y'all thought on that? Did everybody see it? Hopefully it was showing because I was watching it. Like, it's hard to watch, right? What are y'all thoughts? So my question is, what would you do? And then is this anger issues, jealousy, past trauma, mental health issues? What in the world is it? What are your thoughts actually? What are you feeling? I was just disturbed. I was just disturbed too, the way he was slinging her around, but then that the baby is sitting right there on the couch. And I'm like, wow. And as she stated, it's just going to get worse if she stays there. It's going to. Michelle says he has some demons, something going on in there, Michelle. And Pat says past trauma. Yeah, I am like, but see, I feel like people who are like that, if you know you have a temper, you don't need to be in a relationship. If you get, because I think he got jealous. So for one, they're not even. That's his ex girlfriend. So why are you still getting jealous um, about what she's doing now? And you know, it's sad. What are your thoughts out there? Tanisha says that's truly disturbing. Yes, it is. It very is. Really, really is. And Pat says selfish people. Yeah, because what makes it was just graphic. Like, you know. What are your thoughts out there? Karen says, I would say there is a presence of a mental health issue, probably some PTSD, anger issues. I imagine there is a lot to unpack in his life. He probably never got any help for his mental health issues and probably not. And I'm sure he either seen this behavior before in somebody in his household, or um he is just full of rage and anger and needs to process it. But it's just scary um that she has to deal with this, and it seems like it's happened before based on what she was saying. And that anybody that knows domestic violence, it doesn't get better, it progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So um yeah. So if this were you, you were dating Zach Stacy, and y'all broke up, and you saw him dating someone else, would you warn that person? Would you tell them? Uh, and Tanisha says that definitely is a learned behavior from his past. And Pat says domestic violence in the home. Yes, 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 yes. Michelle, you said no, you wouldn't tell that the next person. And you said no, and then tell us why. Karen says I'm scared for her and her child, and she is too. Evan, did you see it? I mean, she said she was getting ready to cry when the news reporter walked up to her. So it's almost like a short version of PTSD. But I think he's been arrested, which is a good thing, and he's being charged for aggravated battery with greatly bodily harm and criminal mischief. I just thought it was horrible that you did that in front of your son. But then the TV is falling on her. I would have thought you would have got a little nervous that hey, this might kill her, but you go on to continue to um, abuse her, you know. And for those out there who may have experienced domestic violence or currently are, I always like to give the domestic violence hotline just uh for reference, or for somebody that you know if they're going through something like that. The number, and I'm going to put it up here too, is 1-800-799-7233. It's so sad. And the thing is, if she wouldn't have caught this on camera, again, this would have gotten worse and worse and worse. And I know she did put out a restraining order on him for her and her child. And actually, there was another child that was there too. I think a child that I think her name is Kristen, has by another person. Um, Michelle says, I said no because of that reason. Oh, for them coming back to get you. You would be afraid, Michelle, like that they would attack you or something like that. Is that what you're saying? And this is for people out there. If you are an abuser, or you know this about yourself, if you know you are jealous hearted and you have a bad temper and you have anger, a lot of this seems like anger management, anger issues. Like you go from 0 to 10 with no problem. And even though she wasn't even really saying anything, you're still trying to attack her, even after the TV falls on her. So if you go from 0 to 10, you probably need to get some anger management, because you're going to hurt somebody. I worked with a couple of when I became an anger management. I was certified in anger management, and we had to run groups for men and women with anger issues. And some of them said they would go black after attacking somebody, wouldn't realize what they did, and then come out of it. So we had to work with them to teach them how to calm down, because what the end result of that is you're going to kill somebody and then come out of it and wonder what you did. Because what happens with your, I think it's the frontal lobe or part of your brain, when you get so angry, the rational part shuts down, and then you're no longer um you know in the heat of anger, and you don't want to kill somebody and then regret it you know Karen says he probably played football all his life and has been allowed to be aggressive, unchecked, and undisciplined. Right. And they're always, Karen, that's a good point. They're always saying that football players, because of them, crashing against each other, there's this term they use, and I would have to go look it up because I did a story on my YouTube channel with it, where it was almost like they get brain damage. And I wonder, is this a part of that? I'm gonna look that up while we're talking. And Pat says people were around to witness it. Um, no one was home, but the for this incident, no one was home for but the baby and I think her older son. Um, so I'm not sure, Pat, if anybody else was there. Um, she just happened to videotape it, which I'm kind of glad she did because that's the evidence. And now that the world knows, hopefully he'll feel well. He'll go to jail for a little time, I guess, but hopefully he'll realize that that's not the way. If you feel like you can't communicate with your ex girlfriend, with your baby, maybe you should work out something where somebody drops the baby off at a location, like a police department or something, and you pick the baby, or a social worker, and you pick the baby up from there, see your child, give the baby back to the social worker, and then that's the way you see your child, because football players injuries to the brain is called. It was something. Let me see if I can find it while we're looking that up. CTE. That's what it is. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Yeah, encephalopathy. Ah, so I'm gonna pull that up. But anything else out there? Anybody else saying anything? So Michelle, you saying no basically because you would be afraid of that person coming back to kind of attack you. Karen says Will Smith did a movie about football and CTE. Yeah, because I mean, these football players are paid all this money, and I don't know if this is the case with him. I don't know if he's had any. I don't want to give him any excuses. I do know he needs to be in jail. For anybody, we are not approving this. We are just talking and discussing this, but he needs to get some help. Um, Karen says, I would definitely tell the other woman, Michelle, I never thought about retaliation. I still feel like I would tell them. And I'm glad you said that, Karen, because I get both sides. I get Michelle's side where there's that fear of this person, because you see how terrified Kristen is in that news clip. And so I can see where it would be um, scary, but I think I would do it too. But you have to know that they may come after you. So this is the little thing that I was talking about, CTE, and I'm gonna put that on the screen. So, the dangers of professional football is a hot topic. Studies have found high rates of concussions, traumatic brain injuries, and a serious brain disorder called chronic traumatic encephalopathy in former players. These injuries have terrible side effects. I think I cut it off. Um, these injuries have terrible, debilitating effects. Um, so they can cause so many things. CTE is a brain disorder that is caused by repeated injuries. These brain changes progress and worsen over time and may not be noticed for months, years, or decades after the last brain injury. Common symptoms include memory loss, impaired judgment, aggression, depression, and some of the former athletes with CTE have committed suicide or murder. CTE is most often found in athletes who have experienced repeated injuries, such as former boxers, hockey players, and football players. So there is some truth to that. I don't know if Zac Stacy has CTE. I have no idea. You're right, Kayla. He does need to go to jail, and I think he has been arrested. Thank God. But yeah, it's just and I'm glad that she had uh um that's videotape up there, because if not, nobody would have ever seen this, and no telling, like I said, this is CTE if you want to read the description of that. Um, a lot of football players who've had multiple injuries, and I don't know if Zach Stacy had this, but no excuse for his behavior. But as you can see, um, it's horrible. So I'm gonna play this again because I see a lot of new people on here, just so you can see what we're talking about.
Evans says that she's filed police
Uh,
reports against Stacy in the past. She said that she went.
oh,
Player seen in this disturbing video that's difficult to watch.
Things are way different now.
and Karen says I don't want him to use CTE as an excuse. He needs to be locked up and have a high bond so that he cannot
Update
get
from
out.
Boise in Orange County, where police are
He
looking
does.
for former
No
NFL running
excuse.
back
We're not
Zac
taking
Stacy,
an
who's
excuse.
accused of beating his ex-girlfriend before taking off.
That is ridiculous. But then you didn't
I'm
even
also
look
afraid
back
that
to
he's
see
going to
if
get away with this.
she was
Fox
okay
35
once
is the
TV
only
failed.
local news station to talk with the victim as police search the nation for Zac Stacy days
And they
after
have
the
found
alleged
him now.
attack.
I feel lost in the system.
We're asking police what took so long to attempt an arrest.
Oh,
Zac Stacy, the former New York Jets running back, is on the run.
can't see the
wanted
video?
in Orange County.
Police say he attacked his ex-girlfriend, as you see right behind us, who was also the mother of his. That attack happening right in front of the baby. This happened in the town of Oakland, west of Orlando, and police tell us they believe Stacy left the state right after this incident.
Fox 35's Dave Puglisi joins us live right now. And Dave, you spoke to Stacy's ex-girlfriend in an exclusive interview, and she's still very shaken up by all of this.
And she's nervous and she's scared. And
hold on. So y'all saying y'all can't see this video, so let me stop sharing the screen and share it again. Oh, maybe because this thing is And hey, Tennille. Tennille says Aaron Hernandez documentary was an eye opener for um about CTE. I think it's definitely something to it. I think so. Let me y'all said y'all can't see the video, so let me is it because that strip was right there? Okay, let me go back. Maybe I just need to do a reshare.
rightfully so. When we talked to her, she was packing up her things in order to get to a safe place. She tells me that she's scared that Stacy might be coming back.
So we all need
This
to
was
check
just
out that Aaron
the
Hernandez
last straw, I
documentary
would
on
say.
CTE.
I really, truly feel that if it continues, he will kill me.
Okay, thanks. I just had to reshare it.
This violent encounter caught on Kristen Evans' home surveillance. She says the attack is coming at the hands of her ex-boyfriend and former NFLer Zac Stacy.
You think that was okay? No, it's fucking no.
Now I do not. Please, please, please.
Well, every time a car has passed by, I am resisting the urge to look to see who it is. I started crying when you walked up because I'm scared. You know?
Evans spoke with Fox 35 as she hurried to a safe location out of fear Stacy might return. She says Stacy was supposed to turn himself in after police issued a warrant for his arrest, but he has not.
We believed he was in Nashville. We're not sure if he's going to be returning to the Orlando area today. There was some word of that.
Evans began a relationship with Stacy in August of 2019, which was on and off. In recent months, she says he's gotten more and more physical with her.
This was just the last straw, I would say. I really, truly feel that if it continues, he will kill me. He just feels justified in his actions. So there's nothing that anyone could do to justify something like that.
Yes.
Evans says that she's filed.
No, I agree. But I do think there's something to CTE. These football players are banging their heads constantly. Is that still on? Okay. Okay, I'm back now. Can y'all hear me? So yeah, it's definitely something to CTE. Um, like I said, I don't want to use that as an excuse. But the question, Karen says, okay, we got comments. Okay, Karen says a number of former football players' families have donated their brains to science to study CTE. I believe that is the only way to effectively study CTE. Is once a person dies. I guess to see the impacts of all of the football playing and tackling and all of that stuff does. Okay, so what are your comments? Anything else y'all want to conclude on this? I guess the question was out. Michelle said no, she wouldn't tell. Like, say for instance, if y'all were dating Stacy and y'all broke up and you got away and you experienced some of this, would you tell another person like, hey, you saw them walking down the street? Would you warn that new lover, or would you just kind of keep quiet. And I know Michelle said no because of fear, and I get that. But what does everybody else say? I see anger issues here. I want to know what past trauma. I want to know if dad did this to mom, or you know, sometimes I think this stuff is genetic. What do you guys think out there? Yeah, so we were just investigating CTE because I do think it's a possibility, and I don't know if Zach Stacy has had that many injuries. I don't know, but he was in the NFL, so possibility. Karen says, lock him up, throw away the key. Lock him up, throw away the key. Tanisha says, I would want to warn someone, but I too would be afraid they would come back to off me. Tanisha said, mm-mm. Okay, I'm sorry, Michelle. Michelle says, I am messing what she says up, I think. So, Michelle, yes, Fred, I would warn them. I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, okay. I thought you were saying no, you wouldn't, but you're saying yes. So, I stand corrected, Michelle. Anything else, y'all? Good topic, good topic. And there was one more part of that question. Let me see what it is. Um, what are some of the third part of this question is what are some of the red flags that people could look for just in case somebody is dating and they may be experiencing uh, or if anybody online has experienced any type of domestic violence, what's something that you look for in a person? And Tanil says she would warn. Good, good. Hopefully everybody would warn, especially with a person like this. This is dangerous. Like, because if he doesn't get any help and he gets out of jail and he goes and dates someone else, no telling what's going to happen to that other person. Like I used to work at a company where this girl got murdered, and we think it was her boyfriend, but they never caught him. But then when they did catch him, and this is true story, then when they did catch him, he had murdered another girl, and he owned up to that one, but still didn't own up to my friend who was murdered years and years and years ago, probably almost when I just moved to Georgia. So domestic violence does not get better; it only gets worse. So just for people out there listening, so we can educate people who may be in these predicaments, what are some red flags that you have experienced or watched for to see if someone is violent or had a bad temper in a relationship? Tanil says explosive temper. Yes, people will show you that explosive temper. Temper, probably like I say, it depends. If they got real bad anger issues, it could be right away. And please don't ignore that right away. And when we say explosive temper, they explode about the smallest little thing, and they blow it up, and it turns into this big thing. Um, that means they don't know how to control their anger if they're explosive. But thank you for that one, Tanil. A controlling behavior, perfect, Pat. That is absolutely correct. A controlling behavior, because this is what happened in Zach's case, because he's not even dating Kristen. He I don't know how he knows that she has a boyfriend, but she says he went off in a jealous rage, almost like because he kept saying this is not okay. You think that's okay? And I don't know the gist of all the conversation, but I, I think it was referring to her having a new boyfriend. But why would you care? See, that's the problem. That controlling behavior is a good sign. So we got two red flags. The first red flag is the explosive behavior. The second one is the controlling behavior. So you want to look for those things because usually when people have both of those type of behaviors, they show up pretty quickly. You just got to pay attention and don't ignore it because it's just gonna snowball into this big mountain of snow. It's not gonna go away. Any other red flags? Tennille says any physical aggression, right? Any physical aggression, yeah. I'm telling you, this stuff is it shows right away, but people ignore it and try to say that it's just this little thing, or oh, they don't mean that. And then the more you make excuses, the deeper you get into it, um and then the explosive behaviors and controlling behaviors already they start getting worse. Karen says explosive temper over what is a small thing like food being too cold, waiting in line for a movie. Yes, um, those small things are big things for a person that is abusive. Again, for those who may be experiencing domestic violence right now, I always like to give the number out. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233. Again, I will type it out here, but it is in the chat in the previous section. But I'll keep putting it out there because you never know who's out here experiencing this. We think this is just because if Kristen hadn't recorded this, nobody would have ever known. Something could have happened to her, and all we would have heard about her in the news in another way, which is horrible. But thank God she put she had the withal to put that video camera up there. So the domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Uh, I put something. Michelle Jones. Michelle, you said I put something. What's that? Karen says isolating you. That is a good one. Isolating you from your family. Isolating. That's the number one thing that an abuser likes to do is isolate you. So then they can start using those controlling behaviors that Pat mentioned, and then those explosive behaviors that Tennille mentioned, and the physical aggression. But these things are obvious to us that are sitting right here. But when you're in the midst of, you didn't read it. Oh, you said something? Oh, hold on, Michelle. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. You sure did. I see it. If they are irritable all the time, that's a sign. Yep, that's a sign. And anything that you do or say to them, they are irritable. And sorry about that, Michelle. Michelle's like, I put something. I put it. So we got controlling behavior, physical aggression, explosive temper, irritability when they are irritable about anything, and it just turns into a big thing. And then isolating behavior where they isolate you from the people that you love, from your support system, and then before you know it, you're getting beat up or abused, I would say. And Tennille says parents need to talk to teens about this, seeing it way too much with these young relationships. Sad, yes. These teenage they got tempers more more than you would expect, but they have really hot tempers. I think that's where a lot of the shooting comes in. Like if you step on their shoe, or you can tell when somebody has an aggressive behavior because they can barely cover it up. And that is a good point. Is what Tennille said is parents need to talk to their teens about this, seeing it way too much with these young relationships. Right. Good. And it may just not be men. We don't want to make it gender, just gender specific to men, because women can have hot tempers and explosive tempers, be irritable, isolate their men from people. So we don't want it to just be men, because men get abused as well. So yeah. And then so irritability, aggressive behavior, hot temper, explosive temper, um, controlling behaviors, isolating, all of those are red flags that you need to look for, because that stuff just doesn't stop. It just piles up and gets worse and worse and worse, and before you know it, you're in a domestic situation. Yep. And again, that number for the domestic hotline is 1-800-799-7233. If anybody's out there that's listening, Karen just put a good one up here, verbally putting someone down all the time. Verbal abuse. Yep, Karen, perfect. Glad you mentioned that. So verbal abuse is abuse, because what they start doing is controlling you with that verbal abuse, and that's part of that controlling behavior, and before you know it, you got low self-esteem, you're at that person's beck and call, doing whatever they say, isolating yourself from family. They're blowing up because, like Karen said earlier, the food is too hot. I mean, the food is cold, or whatever. Michelle says my daughter is going through it. I talked to her, but she won't leave. All I can do is pray for her, and that's why I do this. I like this topic because somebody may not understand what domestic violence is, and they're just in there, and they think someone physically abusing them or verbally abusing them is love, and it is not. It You shouldn't have to live like that. You shouldn't have to live in a house where you're scared to death to move, or that's a horrible life. But what the sad part is, there's so many people out here living like this. So hopefully, Michelle, your daughter, I know you've talked to me about her before. Hopefully, she will get it will click for her one day that this is not a good experience. And Pat is actually an expert on this. She should be talking. uh Pat says, I experienced IPV, interpersonal partner violence, right? As a teenager. Is that IPV? Correct me if I'm interpersonal partner violence. Intimate personal, intimate partner violence, I think is what it is. Uh, Pat says she experienced that as a teenager. So, yes. Okay. um, Tell us about that, Pat. Did you recognize that it was violence, or it was domestic violence, or was it just you thought it was love and you thought this person loved you and that's the way things worked? And I think what a lot of young people, like Tennille was saying, I don't think they know any better. I don't know if and then they get fearful, once they're in a relationship. They don't want to hurt the person's feelings, because I think I did a story on YouTube last year where this teenager got killed at a hotel. I think and it was domestic violence, because I think he got jealous or something like that and threw her out that hotel window or something. I did a story on that. I think it's in my, or I took it down. I don't remember. But this is a problem. Like, luckily this lady captured it on the video and was able to. Now it's all over the world. So hopefully he'll get the help that he needs. Pat says, no, I did not know it was a violent relationship. See, and that's what I fear. Like, young people get into these type of relationships and they don't realize that what the person is doing is verbal abuse or physical abuse. If somebody's hitting you, but you don't know if you think you make excuses for it, I guess, or you may be so naive that you think it's love, and that's the scary part. So I think schools, hopefully they are doing like seminars and stuff on domestic violence or something like that. The mental health departments in the school system are hopefully doing some kind of training for them. But this is just a sad situation. I'm glad she's okay. I hope she stays safe. I hope they're, with this being the attention being brought on to Kristen, and I'm talking about Zac Stacy's ex-girlfriend. I'm glad she videotaped it. I'm glad she put it out for the world to see, so that now hopefully she's protected and not in danger. Pat says, I came from a single parent dysfunctional family. I never experienced love at home. See, and that's what I fear. Thank you for sharing that, Pat, because I know that's like private, and thank you for being vulnerable. But people are listening. The numbers are high, so somebody out there may need to hear this information, and so just not here to. We want to use this story to help other people that may be going through domestic violence. Um, Karen says, praying for your daughter, Michelle. And Pat, I'm so glad you got out of that. How did you get out of that, if you don't mind sharing? Karen says, violent mood swings, overt jealousy, and hiding keys. Yep. Karen, yep. Those are other red flags that are out there. That's that controlling behavior, though. Those that hiding keys, all of that stuff. It's a great topic. Last month was October. October was National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I did so many small snippet videos on domestic violence and red flags and all of the stuff that comes with it. But it's so sad and it's scary because Kristen, it seems like she's been through this with Zach. The video I'm talking about, the people in the video, the ex football player. She's been through this before, and it's just escalating. And um, Pat says, "Long story." Okay, Pat, we don't gotta share. um, but she's been through this, and the restraining orders. It's so sad that when people put out restraining orders, it's hard to really do anything. It's like you have to stay on your P's and Q's, monitoring that person to make sure that they are safe. Pat, Michelle's Pat. I was too in a bad situation when I was 26, but I fought back and got out. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. See, a lot of people experience this. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of, as we speak, somebody is probably going through this right now, and that's the sad part, and very dangerous because especially if somebody is seeking love and they don't know what love is, and so they're just staying because they feel like this is all. It's kind of like Pat, your story, kind of like you came from a broken home and you thought it was love for somebody to be there, and they're being abusive to you, and the abuser knows that. They see it in your eyes, they see it in your behavior, they see it in everything that you do. Even in that video you saw how Kristen was like cowering down, but it still didn't, and he knew he had the power, and it just made him more aggressive towards her. And Pat says, my father helped, so happened he came around my life. I had to take a order of protection out. So Pat, you really went through it. Glad you made it out of that. And you too, Michelle. That's hard. Thank y'all for sharing those stories. You know, that's got to be scary. And see, so I think there's several ways that either Zach, Stacy, either he has, like I said, CTE, or he experienced this growing up, and he's just mimicking what he saw, or he has anger issues. It could be a multiple array of things, but no excuses here. You probably need to go to jail. But we're coming up on an hour. We've been on here almost an hour, or at least that's what my timer says. So, anything else? Great story, great information. Please share this video. If you are watching, share it, share it, share it. If you have been quiet the whole time, we welcome you to talk. You can give us a different opinion. We're not going to you down, but thank y'all for joining tonight. Any other questions? Michelle, Pat says you experienced a stalker as well. I have more stories I will leave for another show. Yeah, Pat, we might have to have you on here giving us information just to help people because there are people out here going through this. Karen says, I used to work with a lady who took her husband's keys every day. She dropped him off, picked him up from work. I don't think he had his own house keys. And yeah, and that's the thing, Karen. It's not just men being the abusers. Sometimes they're abused as well. And Karen says she sold his car. She bragged about how she never left him alone and how women she thought all the women one time. I can't read. And Pat says you don't mind. Yes, yes. Speaking about your experiences. Okay, Pat. Thank you for sharing that though. You and Michelle. Maybe that'll be a show one time. We just get on here and there, because that's what I want this show to do, is provide information. Yeah, we pulled up that Zach Stacy story. Glad he's arrested. Glad his ex-girlfriend is safe. These are not excuses that we're talking about, but red flags are important, especially for young girls to understand what a red flag is. Um, and yeah, so that's it. No more questions. We are going to call it a night. No show next week. It's a holiday weekend, so enjoy your Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, and thank you, Pat and Michelle. Thank you, Karen, again. Thank y'all for sharing your stories. And okay, we'll plan the next show. Just everybody, if y'all don't mind sharing your experiences, that'll be the next title of the next show. I will put that up there, and I'll bring stuff that provides hotline information and all of that stuff. So thank you for all the people that joined. Good night. Don't forget to share, and I will see y'all next week. All right. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.